Ladies and gentlemen, before I run out of breath and faint, please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Praveen Sabnis.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, all of you have some paper to draw on, write on, and some pen. Take it out. Pair up with one person next to you. Ask them their name. Ask them their name and write their name on that paper. Take the paper out. Write their name. This is a time-bound program, so let's do it fast. Is the sound system working well? No? We are not using it. This is not connected. Alright, you are ready? You have the name of the person written there? Now face that person and draw the person in the next 30 seconds. Start drawing that person. Draw the person. Quick! Draw the person. Everyone start drawing the person. Look, whatever you see, start drawing it. Whose name you have written? Start drawing the person. Have you? Come on, quick. 20 seconds remaining. 20 seconds remaining. Done? Yes? 10 seconds remaining. You're not trying to make the world's most expensive painting, just doing a simple sketch. So don't take too much time on it. Do what you can. Done? 5 seconds remaining. Okay, how many have not done? Please raise your hands. I have this style of asking reverse questions because people don't put up their hands. Which means all of you have done it. Right? Okay, give it to that person. Give it to that person. Did you? Okay, now, is there one more mic? No, it's on. I want somebody to... Hello? Okay, somebody would like to share what they felt.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah, it was a great experience to know your partner sitting next to you. And really, we don't notice these people sitting next to you so in deep.
No, but how does it look? How does the picture look? You're going to frame it and put it on?
Yeah, I think this is my first picture somebody has driven of mine. So I'll really keep it with me. Surely, sir.
Okay, great. How many will keep them?
Me first here.
We got closed circuit cameras here. We're keeping a track of people who are raising their hand. Next time for the training program, we'll ask you to come with this picture. If you don't come with the picture, you don't get it. Alright, no, I'm just joking. But how many of you thought it was funny? What was wrong of you? Now I'm asking a question. When you are put into a group photograph, you see yourself, whom do you look at first? And then what do you say? Photographer is not good. Because you have come like that. Or you have come looking somewhere else. Huh? Or looking at someone. Okay. And you say photographer is not good. What is there is what was then when the camera captured it. What is there on the paper now is what the other person captured it. If you look at very young children, you ask them to pose for a photograph, and I have this great difficulty. The younger the child, it's a great difficulty, because when you look into the viewfinder, you see one big eye, because they are right up there. And what happens is, they do not have what is called a sense of inhibition. None of us were born with a sense of inhibition. We were not born with a sense of shame. We acquired it as we grew up because of our social nurturing. And today I am here to talk about unlearning the nurturing, which is negative. Unlearning the nurturing, which is unnatural. Unlearning unlimited is my session, and we'll take it forward from there. This is a wonderful picture that I had seen when I was in college. Happily, I photocopied this picture. The book disappeared. Book lovers, lots of them. They take away books. So what do you think it means? Can the mic move around, or you can speak? If you want, I'll not use the mic because you don't have one. Yes? Is it possible? Yeah, you are your creator. But is it possible? Look at the imagination of that artist to even visualize one hand drawing the other, and that hand has been drawn by the other hand. And it's almost like a cycle of things happening. And that's why here, if you know, some of you could share with me, what is this unlearning? What is unlearning? Is it the opposite of learning? Or is it something else? And here, you know, like I will, whoever have registered by email, we'll be having the email IDs, and we will definitely send this to you. It's not the opposite of to learn. So, to unlearn means is not saying I won't learn. You'll have to take it forward from there. Like suppose you want to unlearn racism. Okay? Do you acquire racism through a learning process? We have a lot of people. I'm not going to the other things because I'll send it to you on mail. To unlearn, it means to be the child that you were born as. It is to start afresh. The child does everything afresh. Walking, singing, dancing, drawing. You give a child, you know, a paper and say, draw. Draw father. Draw mother. Draw baby. And you can see three same type of circles. You say, which one is which? They tell you, this is Papa, this is Mama. They are very clear. Right? They are very clear. They do not have a sense of inhibition and a feeling of shame. No? They are not trying to draw the perfect picture. And that's why so children can unlearn very easily. Because it's something that being open-minded, you know, being able to start afresh. The future is not into learning. You know, if we divide the timeline, if in 1970s it was how well you can learn and how fast you could learn, now it is how well you can unlearn. It's not what you can do, it's what you can do in a different way than you can do now. And this is very important. So ask yourself, am I unlearning? What should you unlearn? What should you unlearn? I've never done a training program in a graveyard. I've always Okay, unlearn the negativity. One, yes, very good. And prejudice, yeah. Prejudice is generally negative, yeah. Which package? Yeah. The burden of history, I call it. You know, the burden of history. Yes? If you are overconfident, it's okay. The world will pull you down. But if you are low confident, it will not pull you down. Okay. So that. Anything else? Unlearn? Pardon? Yeah, you know, you're not what you are because you think it's better something else. And it's okay to be something else. Like, you know, suppose I want to be like Salman Khan. Okay, it's okay. But I can't try walking like this then. Causing great problems to my stomach. I should put it in through exercise and, you know. You get what I'm saying? Wanting to do something and trying to be something are two different things. Alright? Wanting to be something can be a good thing. Unlearn what? Very good. Unlearn? Yes? What? You should unlearn for today at least keeping silent. When you ask a question. Alright? Otherwise you should be silent. But there will be many things and I'm taking you fast through some of them. This was a famous line that I heard from my mentor Sunil Kumar, who taught me training and has been a great mentor to me all the time. Forget learning, learn forgetting. He didn't know who said it. So I don't know who said it. So I say he told me. Okay? Because who said it is not important. You know, because people have forgotten who said it. Forget learning, learn forgetting. The burden of history happens because we don't forget. We had, I remember, 1984, 83, the people saying, send the army and kill the Sikhs. Just kill them all. What was being said? The Sikhs. And in 83, I had seen the Sikhs. If I felt at 12:30 in the night, if I could, security with any person, it was with a Sikh cab driver. And people over here in Goa were saying, kill all of them. Kill all of them. Not all the people, many people were saying. Why? Because they are terrorists. Prejudice. Okay. We had one sir in school who used to come drunk. He used to come drunk, and he was so drunk that he couldn't move around. And because he couldn't move around, he used to stand right in the center. So if somebody was making mischief there, you, Rajesh, keep quiet. Keep quiet. Rajesh is not keeping quiet, so he would hit this guy. The front guy. He would hit this guy. The front guys would be. And the front guys were generally the well-mannered people. Okay? Same, right? Same, right? Hatred is based on false perceptions, prejudice. Okay? But it's the burden of history. Somebody did it then, somebody did it that way. You have to this thing. You can, realize that most of the various technical discoveries, whether it's the mobile or the camera or all the things, they've all come from a situation where those particular people who are driving it were able to unlearn it and unlearn it as fast as possible. Okay? I'm having some problem of it going slowly, so learn to let go is something that is most important. If you're a writer, you know how to let go? Share what you want to write with anybody. That person will write and get a Sahitya Academy Award. Right? It's okay. Let go. But a lot of people, they think if I tell somebody, I'll never write that book, so they never write it. But very few people will actually take your idea and turn it into a book. It's not so easy to turn somebody else's idea into a book. Okay? It's not such an easy thing. But if you tell people, then they give you perceptions, they give you ideas, they give you opinions, and you can take that forward and you can do very well. I'm going to around 5 things that you should unlearn. One, okay, there is this statement, fear works, fear is good. Fear can make you do things that you cannot. Correct? Yes. So tell me which fears are good. Fear of?
Failure. Doing wrong.
Yeah, so it's fear of doing wrong can be a fear of law or fear of failure, how it is good? Okay, it will make you focus on success. All right. Fear of? Exams will make you study for it. Okay. Fear of? Fear of? Fear of? Fear of wife. What it will do? Stop you looking at other people's wives. Okay. Anything else? Fear of? Fear of? Fear of? Pardon? Fear of society will make you behave as per social norms. Really? You never saw a film called Sholay? And you never saw a man called Gabbar Singh who said, Jo dar gaya, samjho mar gaya. The fear of exams make people go blank. Okay? The fear of wife creates distance in the relationship. Okay? The fear of failure prevents you from taking the risk that is necessary to get great successes. Great successes are won only by those who are ready to fail. The fear will pull you down. I had a fear of snakes. All right, and I was into trekking. So it was a very major fear, while trekking, especially if there are trees, I would be looking, which side, looking down, and it was too tedious. So somebody told me, why don't you attend this, awareness programs on handling snakes and all that. So I did that, but still if a snake comes, I would take one step behind and then admire its beauty. The fear doesn't really go, that's what I'm trying to say, But it's under control. At least I am in control of my fear. Because earlier, suppose if I was walking in the woods and suddenly I would see a snake, I would just turn, to run, bang into the tree there and fall next to it. Fear doesn't guarantee your control on your own actions. But now I will see the snake, so I will look which side I can go to behind of the tree. Once there is distance from fear, the fear reduces. Then I'll remove my mobile. I have to put this on Facebook. Okay? So I am trying to click, because the snake is away, I'm going on Zoom. I see it's not moving, so I say maybe it's a dead snake. And then you look at it from all angles, it's not moving. You get a little bit bold, and then you realize it was a rope. Okay? But fear teaches you to cope only if you have overcome the impact of that fear. It teaches you to be focused, everything, but being in control. So that is very important. Otherwise, what we would have done for our athletes to win the gold medal, would have put lions and tigers behind them. Right? But we don't do that, because that will not take them far. Some of those athletes will run up the tree. Some will run in and say, Maganaka Olympics. And that is how it would go on. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, should have been our national anthem in every language that Indians speak. We would have been a different country. All right? All of you had it in your school, right? Not a strange one. Unlearn your resistance to this wonderful poem. Make it your personal anthem. Because that is very important. One of the things we have, forgotten, and we perhaps need to unlearn, removing from our memory, is including Goa. Goa, whatever Buddhist caves are called Pandava caves over here, Buddhism flourished here. The philosophy and the ideology and the thought of Buddha was taken away brutally through violent kings, and it visits us back in the form of Zen from Japan. It's a very strange thing. But what Buddha said was, believe nothing because you have been told it. On the 14th of February, we celebrate Valentine's Day, and 1 week before that, I keep getting SMSs. I get SMSs, emails saying, what a shame. On the day Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru died, we are celebrating Valentine's Day. A Western thing. Shameless people, anti-Indians. And to each one of them, they are my friends who send it to me, right? I take the time off to say, you idiot, you fool, you are the most unpatriotic person I know, because you do not even know when they were hanged. And it comes every time. Mangirish Pai Raikar once went to a function and he gave that speech on the day in the Monday Muse in the morning. He forgot to read it. But it can be crazy. Right? What is it? Because somebody has told. Because somebody said Bhagat Singh was hanged today, you are saying he is hanged today. Don't believe anything just because you have been told it, or because it's traditional, or because you yourself have imagined it. Do not believe what your teacher tells you merely out of respect for the teacher. But whatever after due examination and analysis you find to be conducive for the welfare of all beings, that doctrine believe and cling to and take it as your guide. Sometimes in some laptops don't take some things. Somebody said about being unlearning the negativity. You said it, right, sir? Yeah. Unlearn the negative to unleash the positive. So how will you unlearn the negative? How? Stop using words which are negative. In my school, I found there were teachers who would come and say, I studied in Don Bosco, okay? Don't talk, don't talk, don't talk. And nobody would listen, and they would only lose their voice. And they would get more angry then. Then they would start throwing dusters and all that. Okay? But it would take those dusters to get us quiet. And there were other people who said, silence, what is more piercing to noise? Don't talk or silence. And there were some others who didn't even say anything. They used to come and stand like this in the door. And then everyone would. Okay? Why? Power. Okay? So avoid these negative words. Don'ts. Because when you tell somebody else, that's what you tell yourself also. When you laugh, I've seen people, come here and give some lousy speech. Or some singers sing some lousy songs. Or some dancers do some this thing. And when you laugh at them, what you're doing? You're saying, I'm never going to do this and make a fool of myself. That's what you're saying. Whereas, you have to be able to get into a situation where you remove as many negatives as possible. Just see how your vocabulary will change. How many of you can't understand Konkani? Why? You get what I'm saying? I purposely asked the question. Why? Why? I go to Tamil Nadu, I do training programs, 3-day training programs. There are people who talk straight to me in Tamil, and I speak straight to them back in English. And we both understand. They understand. What is the big deal? We actually read body language, If you're telling somebody, I want the toilet, he's saying, I don't understand. मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता तुम क्या बोल रहे हो. Will they say? Huh? Or you say, I want water. Some people may misunderstand and give you beer, but it's okay. Liquid to drink. But they're not going to give you turpentine because it's a liquid, right? They'll give you something that you can drink, right? So unlearn all the negatives. Unlearn the attitude that's formed. Our attitudes are not formed by our own choice. They are formed by the nurturing we get. And it's not just at home, it's not just at school, it's the entire social nurturing. And that's why, I sometimes feel sad that children, when the medium of instruction thing was going on, I'd actually written a poem on that called Nuts and Guts. But it was that the medium of instruction is not really important. They're being taught rubbish. Okay? They're being taught to hate maths. They're being taught to hate science, to hate language. There's a friend's son, exceptionally, gifted in all the subjects, academically brilliant, hated Shakespeare. He's saying if Shakespeare were, kill him. Because he had to study Shakespeare. I couldn't understand why I had to hate him. So I showed him a film called Omkara. I told him this is Othello. And I showed him a film called Makbul. I told him this is Macbeth. And he began to understand Shakespeare. This is how, whichever teachers made an impact on us, made an impact because of this. But now teachers are not even free to make that impact because they're so syllabus driven. Behavior and of course thinking. 3 things. But if your attitude changes, your behavior changes and thinking, they have an influence on all 3. Attitude, accept yourself. I am responsible for who I am, what I have, what I do. Take ownership. Take ownership of yourself. Alright? Most of us give ownership to somebody else. Some people give it to God. Tu karta de kar. Some people say, if my father was, if my father was tall and handsome, I also would have been tall and handsome. If that was the case, Abhishek Bachchan would have acted as well as Amitabh Bachchan. What rubbish? How is it possible? But anyway, but take ownership, whatever you are. Imagine the guy, who was a bus conductor in Bangalore, giving tickets with style. Right? He doesn't care. He goes around bald with his white beard. He doesn't care. And that is the beauty of it, Take ownership of what you are. You will go far. 10? Yeah. Change what you tell yourself. If you think you can and you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford said this. So tell yourself the right thing. Tell yourself the right thing. We had a priest called Father Gatti, an Italian priest, a very fat guy who used to walk like this so nicely. And he taught us English in the 10th standard, but he taught wonderful things about life beyond 10th also, because I kept in touch with him for the next 6 years that he was alive. And he used to say, when you wake up in the morning, be happy. And he used to then say the second line, you know why? And we had to although he used to say this practically every day, we used to say, why? We had to shout in chorus. He said, because you're alive. You could have been dead in your sleep. And then he would start his class. But it went on, because then I began to notice how people wake up. People wake up differently, right? Some people wake up with anger. They get up and they look. How did it become, Day breaks so fast. Who pulled the curtains? Some people wake up with frustration. What is this? Monday again? Really? Some people. Itlia begin start करपाक जाय. One fellow asked me. Dang, much late करपाक जाय ना. One fellow told me, I want to attend tomorrow's program. I said, yeah, welcome please. He said, can you arrange transport for me? I am staying in Margao. So I said, we are giving 5,000 rupees to each one. Take a cab and come. He said, you're joking. I said, you started. Right? But what I am saying is, what the person must be telling himself. He must be thinking, free program is good. But what about bus? You know what you're telling yourself. So some people, when they wake up, people wake up bored. You know, they wake up bored like that, and they go to the basin, take the toothbrush in their own house, they know everything, and they put Odomos and they start brushing. The eyes are closed. What Father Getty was saying, when you wake up, be happy, you got a day, right? You got the gift of a day. If you are not going to be the person who's going to wish yourself a good morning in the morning, why should anyone else do that? So I'm taking this ahead, I'm not showing you. So you have to unlearn the behavior from reactive, which is, like for a stimulus, you get a response. Somebody says hi, you say hi. Somebody says hi, you say why, hi. Huh? Okay. You can have different responses, right? But your ability to choose the right response is responsibility. The ability to choose the right response, never mind the stimulus, is responsibility. So choose the right response. I go through, multinational companies, and you can, walk, unless you have done a training program for them, people don't even look at you. Unless it is a person who's not from India. They go around saying good morning to everybody. Hi, how are you? Good morning. And they walk away. They're not interested in you after that. Okay? But just imagine a reluctance. No? How many of you know the name of the guy who was giving the tea and the breakfast? Did I hear a pin drop? Because you didn't say thank you to him. No? But I saw some people say thank you. But they didn't even ask him his name. Thank you to whom? So think about it. Choose your response. From unconscious incompetence, you can move to conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious incompetence. I'll give you an example. I do not know I get angry. Okay, I'm talking of unlearning behavior. I do not know I getting angry. But somebody else will tell me, you get angry. I get angry. Yeah, without reason you get angry. Without reason I get angry. Even if there is no reason, I just simply get angry. I'm mad or what? And I don't know I'm getting angry. Okay, that type of unconscious incompetence. From there, then I understand. Yeah, I can be provoked easily, and then I move into conscious competence. I learn to cool myself, relax, count till 5, whatever, drink water, and then it becomes unconscious competence. When you unlearn what you can't do, first you should be aware of what you can't do. All right, and then there'll be a new you. Unwind to unlearn. Please go out of the hall. I come in this dress to tell you, he should not be sitting in the hall. But if he had not kept it in the municipal garden, you all would not have come. Okay? Next time you'll come, if we do it open space. Will you come for the training program? Because we are not meant to be in boxes. We live in boxes for comfort, for security. We are meant to be outside. We need the air on our skin. We need to move on. We need to this thing. And that's why I have this beautiful poem by W.H. Davis. What is life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare. I leave it at that and move on to the next thing that you need to unlearn, because I think I got just 2 more minutes. Unlearning togetherness. There's this beautiful poem. I want you to go back and check it out, by a man called Khalil Gibran, who wrote a long, set of poems on various things, where a master is leaving a place and people are asking him questions. And this is the one. The book is called The Prophet. This is the one which is called Let There Be Spaces in Your Togetherness. All right. So that is, togetherness is about spaces. Togetherness is about doing things by allowing the other to have their space. Relationships is about not holding on, but allowing to walk along, allowing to be away. That is what togetherness is about. So if you can change that for yourself, nice. Time's over, so I'll stop here. Maybe 2 questions I'll take. Any 2 questions. Unlearning is a choice that you make. I spoke about unlearning behavior, unlearning attitudes, unlearning thinking, unlearning fear, unlearning togetherness. Just start afresh. 2 questions? Yes? Yeah. They could even be statements. Huh? You don't have to have questions.
Sir, there is not a question, but can you explain more about unlearning, please?
No. This program has been designed where you have to unlearn what is a training program. All right? Second? Yeah. Yeah, last question.
You did speak about unlearning, but I think a lot of us here would want to know about how you go about unlearning.
Become the child that you were.
And to become the child you are, you have to break down first what you already are.
So just look at it. Don't try to remove. Just do something else.
No, because if your cup is already full to the brim, then how do you empty your cup again?
Drink it and then empty it. Really? No, really. This is a if you send me an email, I'll probably expand it. But what I'm saying is, you can very easily unlearn. Suppose you want to unlearn the type of clothes you wear, just give them away. Right? You'll automatically wear different clothes. You want to unlearn the way you walk. Walk differently. Walk behind. Do it. You can do anything. You want to unlearn the way you write, start writing with the other hand. If you write with the left, start writing with the right. If you're writing with the right, bring colors into your life. Do what children do. Play with boxes. Play with mud. Look at the sky, look at this thing. Use your 5 senses, you'll do very fine. Okay? Fine? I wish all of you will unlearn all that is unnecessary and leave that space to start everything afresh. I hope you'll take that Udan, the flight. Enjoy the flight. We are not going to land so fast. Thank you.
I'd like